All right, so lesson 2 is about transporting and shipping plant materials. So, if you're working in plant sciences, horticulture, or landscaping industries, you're going to have to deal with managing transporting different types of plant materials. And they are live products, so there needs to be some considerations taken with them. Also, crossing plants across international borders. We live in Texas, so we have a border right in our backyard. There are specific regulations over those, so you need to be aware of those. Landscapers and home gardeners typically handle plants purchased locally, at their local farm store or nursery landscaper. So you're really just taking the plants back home. Growing plants, whether young or mature, should be transported flat. So if they're going to be transported a long distance, special care should be given to reduce stress on the plant because plants are live, they can stress. Bulbs, rhizomes, and seeds should be transported in a cool, dry environment because you don't want those to sprout. You don't want it moist and warm because that's what makes plants grow, right? All plant materials should be protected from extreme heat and cold. So this is where you've probably seen, this looks like a Lowe's truck right there. Plants are in a flat where they're upright. Okay, we don't want them jostling around, losing soil, breaking off blooms. Avoid leaving them in a hot car, especially if it's going to get humid. That can kill the plant. Have appropriate transport for larger plants. Trees require a lot more, right? You can't really put them in your small little Mazda. So transporting plant materials requires loading and unloading, so you need to be prepared for that. Garden carts and wheelbarrows are great, but a very large plant, to move trees around, there are things called tree trucks, and they actually look like spears on the back of them, and they dig up the trees and they move them to wherever you want the tree planted. Shipping plant materials. So there's a florist. Flowers, they come from all over. Most of our flowers are coming from Rio in Brazil, or they're going to come from Europe. So they come a long ways, and these have to go through customs. They got to go through everything. So that's why it's important to know what to do when you get these plants, how to take care of them, and extend their shelf life, right? Because we don't want to spend a lot of money and the plant just dies. So there's a lot of different concerns with shipping plant material from state to state. Different. We don't want to bring in disease, insect, fungus. We don't want to ship all that across. So that's why they're usually checked, and they're in that sterile media. Fastest shipping method is going to be the best. A lot are done by air if we're coming across the country, like those fresh flowers. And think about whenever you think of, wow, that rose cost a lot. Well, think about all that went into the production of that rose. They had to pay for the shipment to fly that rose from Brazil to here, right? So that's all going to go into it. So plants should always be shipped with local laws. Packaging should include all required labels and seal. Filler material should support and stabilize the plant. Again, we don't want them jostling, moving around. Shipped by air, plants should be in pressurized compartment of the plane. Shipping cut flowers, fruits, or vegetables depends on the durability of the product. Some plant products have very short shelf life, and so it doesn't make sense to do that. If you want them to be kept cold, that's why flowers, when you go to buy flowers, they're in a cooler because that's going to extend the shelf life. Again, warm and moist is not the best whenever we're trying to keep things from sprouting. Less delicate plant products can be shipped by air or ground and are usually shipped in refrigerated trucks to maintain quality. So shipping and transporting, another sector of the horticulture industry and a very important sector of that industry.